Hi Aries, this is Angel Aura Divination, and I'm here to give the sign of Aries their general tarot and oracle reading for the end of June 2021. This will resonate for whoever comes to this reading, so you don't have to be an Aries to listen to the reading because there might be a message here for you. I also suggest listening to the collective message for this series of tarot readings specifically, which will be posted before I post this Aries reading, probably the day before. So go check that out. It was a pretty good collective reading, I must say, and that's also where the links to the decks that I use for this reading will be at in the description of the collective reading, not in the description of this reading. For this reading, I will be utilizing the Energy Oracle cards, the Sacred Destiny Oracle, and also the Universal Tarot to give you a message. This is kind of geared towards spirituality, but ultimately it's supposed to be more of a general message, especially since I decided that I'm also going to be doing love and spiritual messages periodically on this channel as well. So love might come up, spirituality might come up, other topics might come up, and we're just going to take it as it comes, right? So this also might be very much related to the themes of the collective reading, because that reading was themed and it was a deeper connection to the collective than this one is, because it was reading for more than one person, right? I was reading for more than one group of people because there are only a few people in comparison that this would apply to as opposed to what the collective would apply to, and it would really benefit you to listen to both readings if you are looking for that spiritual food for thought, is really what it is. But because this is all just suggestions at the end of the day, what I see in the cards and what I see happening for you in your own experience is only relative to what you also believe is happening to your experience, right, Aries? So yeah, I'm just gonna pull out these oracle cards before I get deeper into the reading and start giving you the messages, and I'm going to pull the tarot cards out as I go, because that's a little bit more of the intuitive side of the message instead of the, well, all of it's an intuitive reading, but that's the more intuitive aspect of the message, where if there needs to be more clarification, then as I see fit, then I will pull more tarot cards as I go, right? So let's get into it. The first card that we have out from the Energy Oracle is the Thinking Woman. This is a 47 reducing down to an 11, 11 being about new beginnings after a previous cycle. This card represents growth in the mindset, growth in the crown chakra. Your crown chakra might be opening right now or expanding. Your awareness of yourself, your journey, and other things that are going on with you might be expanding. This also, the green in this card is making me think of the heart chakra. You might be connecting to romance or connecting to love outside of yourself or inside of yourself right now, which is helping you to expand your intuitive guidance and your intuitive awareness. This might also be you developing something internally and also having that be shown externally as well. This might even be a transformative time for you, where the knowledge that you ascertain in this period is going to benefit you to the point that it will make you into a different person in the future, right? So with that, you might be reading a lot, you might be traveling, you also might be seeing a lot of synchronicities associated with animals, especially animals in flight, like butterflies, insects, birds, etc. You might also be, they said smelling the roses. You might be taking a lot of time out for yourself in this energy as well. And maybe certain realms of study or certain areas of study also would be related to enjoyment for you, right? With this card, we have enlightenment from the Sacred Destiny Oracle. Now this card is interesting too, because that's basically what I was saying when I was communicating about, when I was communicating to you about like having an opening of your crown chakra and really getting those messages from the universe. You might even be connecting to the collective. You might be collecting specifically to the collective in a different way than others, where you are connecting possibly even to ancient civilizations, whether those are ancient civilizations on Earth or ancient theorized civilizations, you know, in different spiritual groups and belief practices, right? I also see here you might be having some new beginnings when it comes to your own spirituality, or possibly even to your own realm of study, whether that's at school or like a degree program or something like that. This could even be, they said it could even be in the astral, but that's as far as they want me to go with that information. I also think that you are coming into a lot of clarity about what it is that you see and how you feel about your own journey, right? And that some of this is also going to be related to possibly even travel. You might even feel like you need to travel, or like you need to, oh, they're saying, okay, they're showing me somebody taking a road trip. And it's like, you might even feel like you need to travel or go somewhere else to have something that it is you want, or to have an experience that you are desiring, basically. So let's get some tarot cards out to see what this is really about. You might even be doing some studying of ancient philosophy as well. Can I have some more tarot cards for Aries, please? Okay. And this is coming at the end of a certain cycle in your own life, right? This is the Ten of Swords, talking about the end of cycles, especially cycles within the mind, which could be representative of thought processes, or thought processes, I don't know. Anyway, or it could be the end of certain relationships that were based in the mind, to the point that certain people were only really around you to kind of influence your opinion or your beliefs. This could also be about possible betrayals. They said somebody might have even left you for dead. They said literal. When I was going to say in the figurative sense, because that's what the card means. They said it might have even been in the literal sense, where somebody left you behind and they didn't really care what happened to you afterwards. And so this is possibly leading to this expansion in the mindset, or in the crown chakra as well, which is only further emphasized by the Strength card coming out, meaning that you're also facing your inner demons about this journey, about this battle, about this struggle, right? And the endings that are happening here are also, you're setting your own boundaries and kind of walking away from certain things in your life, but it's because of the fact that you've been doing some personal work on yourself and what is going to benefit you, you know, moving forward. You're coming to an understanding, possibly. They said inner child work. It could even be about like you dealing with certain problems or certain cycles in your life, and kind of causing endings in them, so that you can reach a certain level of awakening or enlightenment for yourself. And moving forward in that, you are going to be opening up to, you know, a more receptive energy, because of some of the traumas or some of the cycles that you've ended, right? Which is a very strong energy, which leads you to a very strong energy of growth. Let's get some more cards out for Aries. All right. We have the Seven of Wands. Now, this is kind of an indication to me that some of the people around you that you're still entertaining or dealing with are not looking out for your best interest at heart, right? These individuals, they could be literally acting against you, but this could also be a representation of people just gossiping, or even like trying to prevent you from taking certain action, or even having certain relationships. I could kind of get, but that might not necessarily apply to everyone in that aspect, because this is not necessarily a relationship reading. So it's kind of like, it could be a relationship to a guide, it could be a relationship to a place, it could be a relationship to a, you know, a person, right? It's going to resonate differently for certain people. And this is coming at the change of, you know, that personal work that you're doing. So the next card that we have out is the Queen of Wands. This could be a representation of you, Aries, but this could also be a representation of the person that you're going towards, if you are moving towards a person, or possibly even the place that you're going towards, if you are moving literally in the sense of changing your physical location on the globe, right? So if this was a person, this would be a representation of an individual who is a strong manifester, somebody who works with the law of attraction, somebody who could be a very passionate, outgoing person, somebody who's focused on career, somebody who's a very good friend. This could also be an indication of an individual who is a practitioner of sorts, somebody who connects to the divine feminine or to a larger, higher power to bring in change into their life, regardless of the label that they place onto the higher power that they deal with, right? This could also be an indication of a place. This place would be very sunny. This place would be very abundant. This place would be possibly elevated in some kind of way, so it could be somewhere in the mountains. This place has a lot of clear skies. This place could also be surrounded by forest or be in a part of the world where forests are. So yeah, they're giving me a couple of ideas, so I'm not really going to speak specifically on what place I'm seeing here. Now, the next energy oracle card that we have out for you is the Angel of Strength. This is a 50 reducing down to a 5, 5 being about change, 5 also being about, let's see on the card, freedom, adventure, and also the pentagram. 5 is also the number that relates to man, you know, self-actualization of man, an understanding of who we are in the physical realm, how, or like, and you know, how we are and how we've come to be, you know, as animals, you know, as humans, what sets us apart from that, but also as souls, what sets us apart from spirits. We exist as both, not every, and you know, that's another conversation. I'm getting sidetracked. With the, what is this? The Angel of Strength. This card, to me, is really talking about you are becoming the main character in your life, and this might be the first time that you've actually felt that way, but that might not necessarily resonate for everyone. Beyond that, your guides are really helping you to defend yourself against things that you know are not going to serve you. This is not necessarily a spiritual message to the effect that this is not necessarily a spiritual attack, in the sense that a greater spiritual force is not attacking you, but there are people around you that are not working for you in your best interest, and this is your guides saying to you that they are here to help you, and they're going to help you by helping you and all, possibly even forcing you in some certain ways to set boundaries with people and tell people no, and tell people what you're going to do and what you're not going to do, and how you're going to do it and how you're not going to do it. This card is very similar to Strength, and actually I see like a journey here just within these two cards where you start to work with your inner demons, and then this is you working with your own shadow here and using it for good, for your betterment, for yourself, which is all that I really, that's my personal goal when it comes to working with my shadow. And I've actually been doing my own personal journey with that recently, where I'm kind of understanding, you know, it's that trope in the movie where the bad guy takes their bad habit or whatever makes them the bad guy in the movie, and they use that ability, whatever it is, to help other people as opposed to hurt other people. So, and I don't know, they're showing me Megamind. I don't know about Megamind. I know Megamind is supposed to be kind of like that anti-hero comedy movie, but I actually I haven't seen that movie, so I don't know if that would apply. I actually can't think of any specific tropes that would be like a universally or a widely known like media or TV show or movie where that happens, but I know that that's like a common trope where it's kind of like the bad guy becomes the good guy here, but that's really what your shadow self is becoming for you. The bad guy is becoming the good guy, where in the past you might have had toxic tendencies and you've understood why you had those toxic tendencies, but now you're using them against toxic people. So it's that kind of thing in your own life. And the next card that we have out is openness. Now I think that this is really, okay, they said this is openness to working with astrology for some of you, or even seeing the patterns that astrology kind of has for you. For some of you, though, this is also opening up to a relationship, possibly even a romantic relationship for some of you, where you... Ooh. Okay, it's a couple of things. The relationship aspect, they were saying it could be one of those relationships where you have very strong sun moon synastry, So I would check the birth chart of the person that you are dealing with, or ask them what their sign is. Some of you, this is going to be a relationship with your shadow, where your shadow is helping you to also enlighten. It's like the shadow is helping you also understand the light within yourself as well. You're starting to understand that yes, you have negative aspects, but your negative aspects are only one part of you, and this is starting to increase your self-esteem moving forward, right? Which is ultimately going to be increasing your own physical and mental strength, or fortitude, physical fortitude. They're even saying that this could be manifest as being or feeling stronger, or being or feeling more confident moving forward. This is also, though, you being open to connecting to the collective. So it's kind of like, for some of you, you might even be having a spiritual upgrade where you are going to be more open and collected and connected to the collective. You might even realize that your guides are working within a greater collective, which is true for many guides, especially the widely appreciated or widely acknowledged guides, like saints or orishas or deities or whatever you want to call them. A lot of those are actually like collective consciousnesses. But that's all I'm going to say on that topic, because that's for you to discern for yourself, right? So let's get some tarot cards out for openness and the Angel of Strength. They said that these tarot cards will be a lot about the relationship aspect that you are kind of being told about here, but that's not going to be true for everyone, so let's keep it cute, right? We have the Nine of Swords. Nine of Swords is talking about, okay, it's talking about your relationship to the shadow here. The Nine of Swords talks about like despondency, especially at night or in sleep, that affects the mental health or affects the mental state to the degree that you might be losing out on sleep or having nightmares or possibly even night terrors or other forms of like mental triggering, you know, things that would prevent you from sleeping or having like peace in your life, especially in the mindset, right? So this could, how this has to do with openness is that this is possibly even a blockage for you when it comes to opening up that crown chakra that we were talking about with the thinking woman, right? And when this comes to your relationship with your guides, we have the Five of Swords, yes. So it's basically saying that when it comes to the relationship with the guides, because you can't sleep and you have no groundedness in your day-to-day life, especially because of your mental health or your mental state due to the problems that they said it's due to the problems that you entertain in your life. Like, it's kind of related to, you know, the things that you experience in your day-to-day do affect your mental health. And I think that's a big lesson for a lot of people when they start the journey towards a better mental state, right? The Five of Swords is kind of an indication that there might have been people, yeah, it's like they're playing Backstabbers. I don't know who sings that song. I want to say it's the OJs, but I don't know if that's true. Where they're smiling in your face. All I can hear is they're smiling in your face, and then I can't hear the rest of the lyrics, and then they say backstabbers. So it's kind of like there's people around you that are really trying to stab you in your back, and it's like they're blocking your manifestations, buddy. They're stopping you from having the things that you want or being the person that you need to be for yourself, which as of right now is the Queen of Wands, right? This is a representation of, okay, and they're saying even that the Queen of Wands is a representation of you in your highest state, where you don't have to connect to your guides because you are a representation of them as well, right? That is your higher self basically here. Regardless of gender, it's kind of like the image of your higher self is not determined by the card. It's determined by you, how you connect to that idea, and then how you ultimately manifest it into your life, right? We have the Knight of Cups. So this is where the relationship comes in. So you've actually possibly even been spending a lot of time alone because of negativity in relationships. A lot of people have probably been kind of talking in your ear and preventing relationships from happening, or preventing positivity from letting you entertain new relationships, especially in the romantic realm, but this could also be just about friends. And the Knight of Cups is here to be a representation that you will have more peace in your relationships when you connect deeper to your emotions and also express them openly. This is going to be kind of a renewal for you, though, in this energy, where because you've gone through this energy of kind of like working with the shadow, the way that you see yourself and the way that you express yourself is going to be different and more open, which is also what the openness card from the Sacred Destiny Oracle is about. But when this comes to a relationship, this is also you communicating with somebody around you. And I actually have an indication of who this person might be for some of you. Because you've connected to your shadow and you're starting to integrate that knowledge of who you are at your best and who you are at your worst and how those are interconnected, right? So this person that you're dealing with, you really want to have balance with them. They wanted me to focus on this card first because 3 cards came out for you for this Angel of Strength and Openness, which is talking about a relationship between you and somebody else who you have very strong Sun Moon synastry with. I would check the chart of the person you're dealing with. The 6 of Pentacles talks about balance and give and take. It also talks about charity and the possibility of even volunteer work or the energy of balancing even your checkbook to the degree that you can give to other people, or that you can be more giving in the relationships or the situations you're in, even to a monetary extent, right? So we have so this is a representation of balance in your relationships, and you're going to start balancing your relationships a little bit more by showing and giving people the boot, but also showing people that you're not going to accept certain aspects. It's like once you've ascended past your shadow, you're going to start really realizing that not everybody is as high and mighty as they say they are, and you're going to kind of move out of that energy where you're going to they even say that you might idolize people or certain people because of their egoic tendencies, thinking that that is them having spiritual favor, when in reality they're just very egoic, and so they take power over people because they know how. Which is leading me to the person that you're going to be dealing with in the future, or possibly even the person that you're becoming, depending on who you are and how you resonate. So we have the Magician and the Knight of... This is the King of Swords. So you might have even gone through an evolution recently where you've come out of the Knight of Swords energy and you've come into the King of Swords, where you're more controlled and more masterful with the way that you communicate your thoughts. And you utilize that to really manifest for yourself moving forward. But this can also be a representation of a person that you're dealing with. So either way, this person is very much a similar energy to you, because we have the Queen of Wands and Strength, and then we have the King of Swords, and we have the Magician. And so the Queen of Wands and Strength would be a representation of a possible Leo individual especially. But this is somebody who works with their inner demon, who works with their shadow self to create an enlightenment for themselves, right? This is somebody who manifests in their own energy, right? This is also somebody who possibly works with a higher power to get those manifestations. This individual, the King of Swords, the Magician, is an individual who utilizes their resources to manifest. This is somebody who possibly even has expendable resources, my guides are telling me. The King of Swords, I don't know why I keep saying the Knight of Swords. The King of Swords here is an individual who has mastered, logical thought. This person is somebody who can communicate their thoughts effectively, and who can really work with reason to make things work for them, and they might even utilize that aspect of themselves to help other people. Right? And so you are in very similar energy to whoever it is that you might be connecting to at this time, if this is about a relationship. If this is not about a relationship, then you are really just embodying that energy of the individuals that I described, where you are manifesting for yourself through your logic and also through your connection to spirit or higher guidance, regardless of how you call it. And you're even coming to a greater understanding that the way that you make decisions is also connected to your intuition here. And that might really, really drastically alter your mindset. And that's all I'm going to say about that. The next energy oracle card that we have is the Woman Holding a Coin. This is a 42, reducing down to the energetic vibration of 6. Which is actually interesting, because if you look at the Woman Holding a Coin, she has a black cat, and so does the Queen of Wands. So the black cat is a representation of that higher power energy that I was talking about, because the black cat is the representation of the Queen of Wands' guide, or even familiar, if she was somebody who was a practitioner or a witch, right? So this person, the Queen of Wands, is the same person as the Woman Holding a Coin. Possibly this can also be a representation of you, where you are connecting to that universal energy, or even that grounded energy, possibly even a greater connection to your actual ego, that working with that darkness within you of the shadow self. That's what the cat represents here, the darkness within you of the shadow self, and really working on that self-love, which is why we're talking about the 42 reducing down to a 6, to manifest more material abundance for yourself. This could also be an individual around you, they say. This person looks very good. This person's very good looking. This person puts a lot of effort into looking good, especially to others. So they, even if they have a low self-esteem, they really want to make sure that other people don't see that. This person might be very guarded in that aspect, I see. And that could also be you, meaning that you are trying to fake it till you make it a little bit with that self-esteem journey that you're going on, that I've even expressed through this reading, where you are starting to love yourself more by protecting yourself from things that you know are not going to benefit you, especially in the 3D, and you're really allowing yourself to come into a greater connection with your shadow, to the effect that you are not letting it hold you back, even if you're still going through the journey of integrating it into your behavior and your understanding of self, right? And so the Sacred Destiny Oracle card that we have is Action. This is an interesting card. This is kind of like the energy of change that I get from the Storm Warning card of the Energy Oracle cards. But it's really also basically saying that, like, the shift that's happening for you is happening on multiple levels. And that, you know, your material abundance might be also a representation of your spiritual favor, right? But that's not necessarily a hard and fast rule for everyone, where, like, not everyone that has money is spiritually favored. Not everybody who's spiritually favored makes a lot of money. And those things are not necessarily blockages or even interrelated for everybody who has money or everybody who is protected or favored by the universe, right? So to speak. Because the universe, ultimately the universe doesn't care. That's not the point, though. The point here is that the movement, okay, it's okay, I'm really emphasizing the movement. It's going to be kind of like you're going to see things start shifting for you, and you're not really going to even know, or you're not going to understand how it's happening. I think this is you kind of even working with your higher guides or your higher self to manifest more things for yourself, where because of your behavior and the experiences that you're going through when it comes to your relationship with the self, you're going to start manifesting things naturally without having to put a lot of effort into actually changing the way you go about calling things into you. So you're not going to have to put a lot of effort into ritual manifestation, or you're not going to have to put a lot of effort into mental visualizations and things like that. You're not going to necessarily have to pray for protection, and, well, you should, but you're not necessarily going to have to pray for protection and do all the spiritual learning and go through all the journey, because you're doing the journey already and you don't even realize it a little bit, where you're starting to respect yourself and love yourself, and that's really starting to show with how the universe responds to you and what you want and how you communicate that. This is not saying that you do not need to communicate what you want to the universe. What it's saying is that you can communicate what you want to the universe, but it's not going to come at the sacrifice of having to go on some kind of spiritual journey to attain it, because you're going to start either understanding that you can take action to have what it is you want, because you know you're going to be supported, which means that you will be supported, or you're going to start seeing things just naturally come into your life because of your own high vibration due to the spiritual journey that you're going on. So let's get some tarot cards out for the woman holding a coin. And it's interesting because we started out with the thinking woman, right? And then we had the angel of strength, and it's kind of like this is almost kind of like a representation of your guide showing up right at the moment that you start thinking. It's like you start seeing it happen in the mindset, and that opens up your crown chakra. Your guides start communicating with you. They start helping you with your mindset, and then you immediately start manifesting the changes that you need in your life. Okay. You might be dealing with the Cancer, or you might have a Cancer placement as well. We have the Three of Cups. This is a reunion energy. So what you're really also bringing into yourself, besides that material abundance that's represented by the woman holding a coin, is possibly better friendships or relationships overall. Possibly even a new rekindled relationship as well. Not necessarily a rekindled relationship, but it's kind of like you might be bringing in new friendships or new lighthearted romance relationships in, and a lot of that is also going to be associated with partying, having fun, and really looking for something to enjoy, something that you can really sink your teeth into, they say. We have the Ace of Swords. This is a card that is a representation of a new beginning in the mindset, but also a new beginning in the way that you communicate with other people, and possibly with a specific person. You could also be dealing with a Gemini, or you could be a Gemini as well. And then we have the Chariot, which is a representation of you showing up for yourself in the energy of you trying to change your own life. You know, you are awakened and you're kind of trying to balance out your life. And the place that you might even be going is just a different city, possibly even in the same country. Or if you live in the States, it might even be in the same state, right? But that's your business, not mine. You might even be coming into a greater enlightenment about what spiritual concepts work in conjunction with yours. So if you, let's say, just for example, you believe in the Christian teachings, right? You would also be somewhat compatible, at least in theory, with working with the archangels or working with the, you know, saints, like, for example, Saint Mary or Archangel Michael, which also would be related to Saint Michael. That's just an example. So that would be compatible with your belief set, but there is a deeper spirituality behind working with somebody like Saint Mary, or in one of her many forms, or Saint Michael, Archangel Michael, in one of his many forms, right? And that branches off somewhat from the spirituality of the Christian teachings, but it would still allow you to be able to transform your thought process behind it. And so it's kind of that energy of too as well, where that is also you integrating your shadow into your light, where you're starting to expand your mindset about spirituality and your spiritual consciousness through your spiritual teachings, and how you express them and utilize them to your own benefit, as opposed to utilizing them to your own appearance to other people. And the card that we have for your, yep. Okay, that makes clear sense. The card we have for your advice is the Magician in the Mirror. This is a 53 reducing down to an H from the Energy Oracle. And this is exactly what I was talking about. And it's almost saying basically here that your shadow is not necessarily going to be the shadow. It's not going to be darkness. It's going to be another aspect to yourself. And it's kind of like, you know, when you stand out in the sun, the sun hits you in the front and the shadow is behind you. But really, those are just two different perspectives. Because if we were facing the ground and the sun was at our back, the light would be behind you and the shadow would be facing you. That does not mean that neither of them are gone away, and it does not make one or the other worse. Because if it's really hot outside, you'd rather be in the shade, right? Which is also an allegory for, or a metaphor really, for if you are experiencing a lot of negative traumatic experiences, you are more likely to be in the ego. You're more likely to be in the survival mindset. Where if you are not in that mindset, or if you're not in a lot of traumatic or, you know, life or death situations and things like that, it's easier for you to be in a spiritual mindset, which is part of the reason why some people, you know, are, that's not necessarily always the truth, but it's part of the reason why people utilize faith to, whether that's in spirituality or in religion, to get out of certain situations, because they can it'll help them see themselves out of the negative situations that they're in. And that's what the Magician in the Mirror is really talking about. It's helping you see, you know, the connection that you have to your higher self, and it's going to ultimately have you connecting to your crown chakra, connecting to your guides, and really integrating the different parts of yourself to create and manifest in the 3D for yourself, and get out of that survival mindset and move into this mindset of preparedness to thrive, right? So that's your reading, Aries. If this resonated for you and you stayed all the way to the end of this reading, I would love to hear about it in the comments. Leave a star emoji in the comments if you stayed this long. I would appreciate a like. I would also appreciate if you subscribe to this channel. And that's it. Check out my other social media as well. Goodbye.